What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Beanbay here, and today we are here with two boys,
Boys,
Tokyo
Tokyo
Ghoul.
Ghoul.
That's right. We're reviewing the Tokyo Ghoul manga today.
Yeah,
After so long, it's been so long since we've done one of these videos.
it, it's been a
It's been
while.
a minute. The Toriko video was like 4 months ago, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. We ran out of like shonen to
Yeah, we
talk
kind of
about.
did. We kind of just lost shonen to read. Like,
Like there's some to cover, but not like none nearly as big and as influential as like the big three, and then
and
even
then
Tori.
Toriko, which like was a complete like holy shit, what a what a manga, what a surprise,
Yeah,
what a
what a
surprise hit, what a surprise classic. Like Jesus Christ, that shit is fire.
yeah.
So it took us a little bit to decide, but we ended up going on an anime, what's considered an anime classic, in Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah,
At
I
least
don't
season
hear.
one. um, but
I, you never you don't hear a lot of people talking about like the manga of Tokyo Ghoul.
not really. I've
Um,
heard good things about Ri, but I mean that was probably because I don't know. Ri sort of I kind of had big expectations going into it, I guess,
yeah,
as far as I'm aware. Like I don't know, but
that makes sense.
I was in the Tokyo Ghoul. I was in the fan base back in the day, so
Right, right.
so this was an interesting journey to go through.
Yeah,
Um,
I, on the other hand, never watched the show, never heard anything about the show, never heard anything about the manga. I'd going into this completely blind,
yeah,
and it's also kind of a it's kind of a genre switch up for us too, because we've never really
it's
covered anything.
anything quite as dark, I guess. Quite
Yeah,
as it's like I don't even it's on Shonen Jump app, but I don't even know if it technically is shonen.
I would call it a shonen. Barely. It's like
Barely,
pushing. It's like
it's
pushing the
pushing it,
boundaries.
bro.
It's
It's pushing. It's like it's it's like dark sci-fi almost in a way.
sort of,
Maybe
yeah,
sci-fi isn't the right word. I don't know. Fantasy
yeah,
in a way. I don't know if ghouls are more
fantasy-ish.
in the there's sci-fi elements with the doctor and stuff.
Yeah, but
And the Quinkies and the Quinkes. Listen, I don't know how to
queen,
pronounce these
queen,
words.
queen K's, queen K's. I don't
Kagune, that one's easy.
Kagane.
Kagune is
Yeah,
easy. All right. Regardless, let's just get our overall thoughts out the way. What did you think? What did you think? No, I don't know what your expectations were. Having, I mean, I know you knew about it, and you've heard good things, but
yeah. I don't know what I was really expecting. I wasn't expecting anything like super. I wasn't expecting anything super riveting or like super thought provoking. I guess I was like expecting kind of like some edgy, cool action.
edgy cool.
Because it is that is one thing I knew about the show is that it is edgy.
It is,
uh,
yeah. I mean, I can kind of get, bro. That like the 9,000 minus seven is such like 1,000 minus seven is such like a meme at this point.
yeah.
You see that shit on T-shirts, and it makes me it's so edgy.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I know there's some action. I know there's some. It was kind of edgy. I know some dark stuff happened.
Yeah.
Um, I've heard the opening. I've heard
Oh no,
Unravel.
I would never have guessed you would have heard that one.
But I don't know. I wasn't expecting too much. I really didn't have any expectations going in
Yeah.
because I wasn't sure like what kind of show it even was, right? Like
Mm.
what it even was. Uh, but then I got into it and I'm like, oh yeah, I like
Yeah, you
this.
didn't enjoy the beginning as much
I no
uh,
the beginning.
compared to me, but I'll get into it later.
Yeah, it could. I feel like part of it is because I before this I like pretty much like right before this I read Jigan,
Oh, you
which
did read Jagan.
I
Holy
did.
shit,
I
that
read
that
Jigan,
puts a
which
lot of shit into context, actually.
which I feel like it's very similar to the like the early parts of Jigan is very similar to the early parts of this, but I think just to get Jagan just does it a lot better.
Yeah.
Um, and then like halfway through when we get to like the uh the Jason arc, right?
Hmm.
Kind of in there. Then I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, this
Yeah.
is interesting. This is getting good. And then from there it kind of dips back down a little bit for me. And then at the end, like the last good portion of it is like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that 100%.
So like, yeah, like kind of a roller coaster, but I think overall pretty like it never dipped below like a 7 for me.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that. You see, for me, on the other hand, there is something so I didn't realize how nostalgic reading this was gonna make me
Yeah,
because I was reading it and I was like, "Holy shit! I was in middle school when I watched this."
it is.
Holy shit! I used to
Yeah.
watch. I used to watch this show weekly. It just like putting that into perspective. I was like, and so the beginning was really like I was like really enjoying it because I was like, I remembered what happened, but not in excruciating detail. So there was like a lot of stuff that I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. I totally forgot about this. Um, and not to
Right.
mention, I think the most interesting thing about basically maybe the whole manga in a way, but especially at the beginning
Hmm.
is the themes, the sort of morals that that the that the manga sort of throws at you. Um,
Yeah.
like anytime Amon is on screen, I'm here for it, bro. And I think especially man, like when like that encounter where he fights Kaneki for the first time, and
Hmm.
Kaneki's trying to hold himself back,
Yeah.
to not consume this man.
Hmm. Hmm.
That one like I still remember that from forever ago too, and I think that's like a good. And then the whole quote, this world is wrong.
This world is wrong.
This
Yeah.
world is wrong, and I think that's
Arena.
I do think the author is really good at making you think about stuff like that, just sort of like the nature of ghouls versus humans,
Hmm.
and how similar but like distinct they are. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
I did think that's one of the strong points. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really like that part about like the this the definitely more towards the start of it. You focus on a little more. I feel like, but
Yeah.
the conflict between the two sides and how there's not really a right side.
Yeah.
Like the ghouls have their messed up people because they're gotta eat people, right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of comes with the job.
Yeah.
But then there's also the fact that the investigators they're like the good guys, quote unquote, but they're also just murder. Like
Some
they
of
don't
them have
like they,
are so easy to just be like, okay, I'm gonna kill you now. Like there's
yeah.
like I'm not gonna listen
Oh,
to
you're
anything you have to say. You're a
yeah.
monster, and I'm right.
Yeah. Oh, you're a ghoul. Oh no, you're dead.
Oh, you're dead.
Death
You're dead.
sentence.
And I think just like with Amato,
Hmm.
especially like that, the way the manga portrays investigators right at the beginning really speaks to that, where it makes you think that these guys are
Yep.
ridiculous.
They're psychopaths.
They're fucking psychopaths. Um, but the more you grow and the more you're like, man, I love both the ghouls and the investigators, man.
Yeah.
Like
They're
I
both
love
just
people on both of these sides.
they're both just kind of doing their job,
Yeah,
doing what they do to this to survive, right? Because man, the investigator are there to just make sure ghouls don't just eat all of everybody,
yeah,
right? Like, cause like if there was nobody to fight back against the ghouls, they would just take over society, right? Because
yeah,
nobody to stop them. They can they can go through they can take bullets and whatnot. Like
yeah. They're crazy.
most regular people are not putting up a fight against like even your average ghoul.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's interesting the way that they portray Arima is such a just talking about him for a
mm,
second. It's such a like a strange force in this manga for somebody who barely shows up in it.
yeah, he's talked about so
He's talked
much.
about so much because we talk about the beast on the ghoul side, the one-eyed owls, both of
Mm,
them.
Yeah,
um,
sort of a spoiler, but
yeah, I'll put a spoiler warning before the because I forgot to say that at the beginning. We were gonna go into spoilers. But just like, and then you hear about Arima and the fact that this man's untouchable, basically. Like he's a monster on the human side.
yeah, like no ghoul has been able to do a thing to him,
And you're
and
like, how could that possibly be the case until you actually meet him? In which case, holy
yeah,
shit.
I love his presence in the in this story. I'll go into that later, but
Yeah,
um, yeah, he's so it's like there's just the conflict between the two sides, and it's like you're kind of trying to figure out like what you're as a like a shonen reader, I'm like trying to figure out who to root for,
yeah,
but then
it's
like
sort of difficult.
there's no right side to root
Yeah,
for. Like like the ghouls are wrong, the investigators are kind of wrong. But it's like, and then you get to know characters on each side, and
yeah.
like you get to get connected to each characters on each side.
Before some of them just
Yeah, and then
die.
it all comes to a head at the end, and you're just like, wait, no, I like both of you.
Yeah,
Don't
I
kill
like
each
both
other.
of you guys. It it is sort of like, yeah, and I think that's the strongest part, the characters for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
no, definitely the characters are
it
the definitely the strongest
you
part of this
know,
one.
in the themes, but the plot itself takes a dip in a few places.
Hmm.
So simply leaving a few loose ends, a little too loose. It's still like a sort of semi mysterious show or manga.
Yeah,
So there should be a mystery element. There should be stuff we don't know, but there are some plot lines that should have been wrapped up nicer than they were.
yeah, it should have been touched on like at all.
Yeah. So
um,
it isn't a perfect manga, but it is still like really good.
yeah, no, it's the characters and the themes of what like it makes you ask like what are humans and like what is
Yeah.
humanity? You know, it's kind of on that kind of end. So that
Um,
was good.
and I think the art does a good job of of portraying it. I think mostly I still stand by. I think the illustrations that he does around the manga um are really beautiful. And like the way they're sort of they feel like sketches, but they're also like watercolory. It's a very like he's a very good artist.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And unfortunately, you don't get because it's really hard to do that in a manga format, especially because I'm pretty sure this was a weekly manga when it was coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his art it is good. I think he's good at drawing expressions. For the most part, it might be his best
Hmm.
aspect.
Yeah.
But overall, the art is really good, and I think it does help elevate the series.
Yeah, no, I think the art again, the art is kind of just okay for me through a lot of the early parts.
Mm,
And I think part of what made me like kind of like not not be so into some of the early parts is the just the way that like Kaganes look. I feel like they early on they don't really
mm.
they're not very visually interesting to look at. It's just kind of this tendril where it's just like tentacle that
Okay.
coming out of them.
Yeah.
And I just find it kind of like okay. But then like again near the when the Jason arc hits, I think the art like he like portrays what's going on in the like through what's going through our main character's head like really well with the art, and I
Yeah.
think like the paneling his paneling is like like one of my favorites in the like out of any manga that I've read because it
Hmm.
was just it's just so unique, so kind of like boundary breaking. He would just he would put panels in like in ways that made you
Yeah.
disoriented and like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not like okay, oh, which am I supposed to read first, or like why is this like overlaying this, and it's like it added to that sense, and I think the art picks it up a lot in that
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that section. And then for the rest of it, I think the art's pretty good.
No, I understand. Yeah, I can agree with that. I do think it gets better as it goes, but I think that's just a lot of mangas in general.
Yeah, no, that's true.
um,
That's true.
yeah, and then to talk about the anime a little bit. I don't want to go get into it too much in this video. I sort of want to save it for the read video.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which yeah, we're gonna do a read video. Spoilers.
Yeah, haven't read it yet.
Because I mean, yeah, we haven't read it yet, but we're not just gonna leave this series dry like this. It's intriguing enough to continue.
Mm-hmm.
The anime is really good. The second season is ass. I'll leave it at that. For now. And we'll have a bigger anime discussion in the re video, but but if you need to watch the anime, I do just watch the first season and then start reading the manga. It's my recommendation.
Don't watch the second season.
Don't watch the second season. Um, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I have to say. If I were to leave it on a minor complaint, it would be that humans are a little too nonchalant and like not like some of them. Too many of them don't believe in ghouls in a world where all of this shit happens. Like,
Yeah,
uh,
that was kind of a weird point of it. Uh, 'cause, yeah, they're talking about ghouls like, oh, there's like an urban legend. It's
like yeah, they're like they're urban legends when there is a literal whole like a whole fucking Japanese organization of fucking investigators.
yeah, there's a branch of your government
And apparently,
dedicated
like
to
the first like four wards are unlivable. Like
Yes,
I
that's
don't know, it's really strange, and I think it might be a byproduct of maybe it doesn't really come up too much after the early sections.
hmm.
So maybe it was just a byproduct of sort of not
He had a different,
envisioning a different vision of it at the
yeah,
beginning.
he had a different plan in mind.
Um,
Could have been.
but it is strange. But yeah, that's really my only really big complaint. I really like the series, biases included. You got anything else to say?
Uh, um, good art, good story, good themes. Made you think a lot. Makes you think a lot. But overall, pretty good. Pretty good.
It deserves the sort of high reputation that it has.
Kind of a cult classic, I feel like.
It is a bit of a cult classic. I feel like people sleep on it nowadays. I do think
Hmm.
it deserves a read through again, and I'm glad my man is getting a second shot through Chojin X.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Continuing his sort of because there's like having read Tokyo Ghoul and then also having read Chojin X. I don't want to get into it too much because I mean it's only got like 20 chapters, right? But
Yeah, it's not.
it does feel like somewhat of a spiritual successor in a way.
It
Because
does.
there
It
are a lot of
does.
like similar themes, like Chojins and ghouls are very like they're Chojins are way more unique, but like the groundwork is there from Tokyo Ghoul. So
Yeah, it's very similar in tone and themes. I feel
mhm.
like.
so
Uh,
I give the show like a 9 out of 10. It's not the show. I would give the manga like a 9 out of 10.
okay, okay.
Um,
I give it a solid 8, 8.5, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah, just again, some parts I thought were just okay. Still good enough to keep me reading through them, but not like I'm not actively like
mm,
yeah. And then other parts were like almost like close to a 10 out of 10.
yeah.
Some manga, so I'm like, yeah, I'd give it a solid 8, solid
Okay.
8.5.
Yeah. So go check it out if you haven't already. I mean, I'm looking forward to and check hit the like and the subscribe button if you like the video. Uh, there is more content coming. I promise.
Yep, we're picking
We
it
had a
up.
bit of a dry spell for a little bit, but I'm getting back into the flow of things. On the flip side, if you want to keep watching us, but you're tired of the YouTube content, I do stream over on Twitch on Tuesdays and
Mm,
Thursdays.
mhm, mhm.
At
I'm there on Thursdays usually.
at the Bean
So.
Big 159. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.